Welcome to Aging Gracefully. I want you to live a long, healthy life without regrets. And today I have my friend and neighbor, Bob Becca, and we're talking about bees today.
Hi everybody. I got interested in bees probably 30 years ago, but I never had the opportunity to pursue that until just recently, last year in fact.
So let's talk about your age. You are?
I am 66 in a few months.
So at 65, when most people are thinking about retiring, laying low, oh no, this is when your passion for bees really came forward.
And gardening, of course, goes along with the beekeeping. So.
That's why we're good friends. So how did you get started then?
Actually, I was reading about a man in Oregon that is developing a treatment for bees using mushroom mycelium, which is another one of my passions, and decided to try to save the bees. And to begin that process, I thought starting my own hive would be the best way to get involved in it, find out what it's all about, and enjoy the fruits of the bees' labor by creating some honey.
So a minute ago you said, well, you really wanted to save the bees. So tell me about that. I understand bee population is declining.
Right.
Why do we need them?
Well, bees pollinate 80% of the food that we eat. So without them, we're all going to starve to death. So we definitely have to pay attention to what's going on. And there is a worldwide collapse of bee colonies, especially in the wild. And it's primarily pesticides and a little tiny mite called a varroa mite, which has attacked the bees, and it attaches to their body and lives off of their blood, but it also spreads diseases, and that's primarily what causes the bee colonies to die off.
Wow. But you have one hive, and in a minute we're going to talk more. Now you have two hives.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So bees are very prolific, and they like to expand themselves, and if you don't take steps to prevent it, they will swarm and leave your hive to start another hive.
All right, so you want to increase the bee population, but is that frightening for people? I mean, can we all be stung all the time here in this neighborhood with, your bees and
Bob's bees? Bob's bees are very gentle. They don't hardly hurt anyone. It's a common misconception that honeybees, are a culprit of stinging a lot of people, and that's really not the case. Most people are stung by hornets and yellow jackets, which are, part of the wasp family.
Totally different. And those are the ones that can sting repeatedly.
Multiple times. Their stinger on a hornet or a wasp doesn't have any barbs on it. So they don't lose their stinger when they sting you. So they can just continuously, repeatedly sting you.
But for a bee, it stings you.
It's over. Its life is over. Yeah, it sacrifices its life for the betterment of the colony.
So let me ask this. In the fall, when we're eating outside at a picnic and all these bees around, are those bees?
Those are absolutely not bees.
Okay.
Those are hornets and yellow jackets.
So we can smack them away.
We can smack them away. Or vacuum them away.
That's another story. So this was a fun week because you had a queen bee arrive, and I got video of that. I'm going to make sure it gets inserted in here at this point. But can you tell me again, because I was a little nervous that day with the hives being open. Tell us again, what was going on? How do you split a hive?
So after the bees build up to a certain size in the hive, it's best to split them into two hives to lessen their habit of swarming and leaving. So I did that Tuesday this week. We opened up one hive and created two by splitting all the frames up. And to speed up process of the new hive developing a queen, I purchased a impregnated,
Yeah, already has
a
eggs.
fertile hive. I got a fertile queen and introduced her into the one hive that didn't have a queen in it.
Nice.
So this is a split. This is where you take half of your bees and try to raise a second hive. And a hive of bees costs about $185 for a starter kit. So I paid $35 for a queen and split the bees up. So,
I see.
and you can just keep doing that. You can propagate, you know, and get 20 or 30 or whatever you want to do.
And they're not territorial, so you can have multiple hives in an area?
You can. Now, there will be some drift. Some bees will, you know, they'll migrate between the two hives. The foragers sometimes get a little bit confused which one's theirs. So I may paint, and they tell you to paint a moon or a star or something of shape near the entrance of the hive.
Really? And they'll recognize.
That and come back. You can see the white dot.
Yes.
That's the queen.
And the others are
The
worker
others.
bees to take care of her right now.
So they eat the sugar out, and it takes 3 days, and that frees the queen from the cage. And that gives all the other bees time to get used to her. Otherwise, they'll kill her.
So all you have to do is set this into the hive.
Right. They're not aggressive at all right now. This hive is full of real little baby bees. You can see how small they are.
Mm-hmm.
I put the queen over in that new hive with half of the bees. I did that yesterday.
Okay.
I split them up. So now we're going to put a new queen in here for these bees. So then and she'll be starting to lay in 3 days.
Okay.
So all we
There
have to
they
do
are.
is pry the frames apart and put the new queen cage in there. And then they'll take care of the rest. After 3 days, she'll be out laying eggs and starting new babies.
And here's where I just back off a little bit.
Open this up. You can come here and get a shot of this.
Oh, I've got it from here. It's beauty.
You can see the cluster of bees here in the center.
I see them.
Yeah. When the newbies come out the first time they come out to forage, they hover around the hive and they swarm around and they're getting their bearings and they're looking at what their hive looks like and the surrounding, so that when they go out and forage, they can come back to the right hive. So they say to try to give it. You know, some people paint colors, pink and white and green, and so they can, because they can see colors. You know.
I didn't know that either.
Well, yeah, that's why they're attracted to, you know, the colors and the flowers and stuff. So they're very sensitive to colors. So.
Well, I can tell you this. I am so fortunate to be a gardener just across the street from a beekeeper.
And hopefully it'll improve the gardening, right? Yeah.
That's
so
right.
We're all about the garden. So.
Yep.
The greenhouse is sort of stalled in construction, but I don't think I need it anymore this year, so it'll be a fall finished project. So.
Mm-hmm. You'll be wintering over like I do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, she's in there.
All right.
They'll start feeding her and chewing the sugar plug out. And then in about 3 days, she'll be released into the hive. And she should go right to work, starting to lay eggs. She's a mated queen, pre-mated queen.
And so where do you get a pre-mated queen from?
My bees come from California. There's a bee store out in Spencer, Ohio, that they import them this time of year. They bring two semi-truckloads of bees from
Wow.
California. And it's Northern California, like near Washington State and Oregon, so they're used to the harsher climate, you know. Because there's a lot of bee growers down in like Tennessee and Florida, Texas, but those are, you know, they're not used to the cold weather. All right. So we introduced a new queen to the hive.
Just like that.
So let's take a quick peek into the hive that we introduced our queen to. We don't want to keep it open too long because it's pretty cold today, but this will give you kind of an idea of what's going on inside of the hive. So there's a bunch of worker bees up in top here just cooling things off and getting out of the center of the hive. They do that quite frequently, and they cool the hive. They bring cool air into the bottom and blow it out through the top with their wings. So they're very productive.
And we're this close, and his little dogs are around here all the time. So obviously, these are pretty docile bees.
Yeah.
I actually love that they are this close to my garden because they're pollinating in my garden. They're helping me with my work. Okay, so here we have the beekeeper suit.
Yeah, even though the honeybees are very docile and gentle, when you go into their personal space, sometimes they get a little testy with you. So we, you know, in the beekeeping world, we generally want to wear some protection just to avoid
You're
getting
gonna put this on me?
So I think we should try it on you for the.
Good. All right. It is a cold day, so thank you. This is nice. All right.
So they have Velcro and everything gets sealed up pretty well. And of course, then you have the lovely face protection. So.
Okay. And what about gloves? Right?
And of course, we have, you know, beekeeper gloves which cover your arms and protect your hands from any stings.
All right.
And then a few other small tools. We have our smoker, which helps to calm the bees down when you're going to open up the hive. There's some thought about. They think it's from forest fires normally in the wild that somehow they calm them down. I don't know why. they all go into their hive when there's smoke around. So.
And you have this book here too that you said is really fun for anybody to read.
It's a great introductory book for anyone that's interested in starting a beehive. And also, Lorain County Beekeepers Association is one of the oldest beekeeping associations in the country. They've been around over 100 years, and they put on spring training classes for new beekeepers and all kind of public events at the Lorain County Fairgrounds. So
you continue to learn all the time,
Absolutely.
See what's new, what new science there might be, like the whole thing with the mushrooms.
Exactly. It's a great organization.
Well, I want to say thank you.
All right.
Thank you for being a beekeeper. Thank you for being on Aging Gracefully with us today. Thank you for sending your bees over to my garden so that they pollinate all the food for me.
You're quite welcome.